Hello, good evening everyone. I'm Abhijit Singh from ImaginXP, and I hope all are safe, secure at home, doing good in this lockdown. I wish for your good health. And you know what? The pandemic situation has proved that learning can never stop. And hats off to all the teachers, all the trainers around the world who accepted this challenge, and are they doing amazing job by proving that learning hasn't stopped. Even in this time of such crisis, it's learning at home which is helping, and technology is helping the students and the teachers to cope up. Same is with ImaginXP. I thank all my trainers and teachers at ImaginXP who proved this, that UX is in the air, learning is in the air, and so is ImaginXP in the air. Connected with you. Again, we are here today with an amazing session, something different today that we wanted to do. Past 1 month, when we started these online sessions, we started communicating with a lot of students through all these social media platforms. We used to get a lot of questions on what is future of UX, or how do you make career in UX, or what is the future of design. So we thought that why not invite some amazing people who are associated with ImaginXP, the alumni of ImaginXP, who are doing wonders in the industry. They have been there's an amazing journey that I have seen of these students who came up with a mission, who came up with a small vision of how they can be part of UX industry, or how design or UX can actually change their future. So let's hear from them, and I'm here to welcome first Tanmay, who's one of the leaders, managers, and visual head at Ernst& Young Pune. A boy from Kolhapur, was from a design background, but never thought that probably it's going to be this big when it comes to design for him. So I'll just join in Tanmay, and from there we'll take it ahead. Hi Tanmay, so good to see you.
Hi, Vijit. Thanks for having me.
Great,
And
great.
set up
How
this
are
camera.
things?
Things are really good. Uh, how uh, how at your side?
All good, all good. And I was just talking to the audience that learning of UX has not been stopped due to this pandemic situation, and how ImagineXP has come up with
Absolutely.
online modules. And
Yeah,
like I mentioned before the show, that we wanted to interact with few of the alumni, and we thought that you should be one of them. So before I start and we talk about your journey, I would like you yourself to introduce you to the audience. You talk about your journey as a designer. The only thing that I
yeah,
mentioned was that a boy from Kolhapur and now at EY Pune. But yes,
yeah,
I think you would be the best one to elaborate more about your journey.
definitely. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for having me here, and of course, Imagine XP to invite me to have a little chat about the design, of course. And
It's
yeah,
always a
so
pleasure.
yeah, thank you. So it's really good initiative what XP is doing here, and of course this is again my first time over here. So let's hope nothing gets a little cranky over here. Let's keep it casual. And
Yeah.
also yeah, so I have been posting a lot about. I have also seeing a lot about posts about this live session, particularly also with Meg. We'll be having. So the photos, what everyone must have been seeing of me. It's obviously the earlier photos, and this is my new quarantine look. I hope everyone loves it.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So to start with, yes. So my journey. So around 2006, 2008, I started with my official education in Mumbai for into. I come from the background of animation, gaming, and filmmaking basically. So for that, for it was a 2 year design diploma, and at the last semester, I was supposed to submit a project as a final year project, and in that we had I was supposed to create a website, so I decided to create a website. Back then, it was all about a website and web development, web design, and GUI. A lot of people
Yeah,
used to call it GUI. Basically the graphical user interface.
true.
Yeah, yeah. So it was nowhere UX terminology was known for people back then. So yeah, that's how I did my first project, and I stood second in all over India.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was the first introduction for me to into UX basically. And yeah, so I used to create websites templates in Adobe Flash. It was a quite known tool back then, and by going technical terminologies like using action scripting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how started learning about UX. And around 2015, I got to know about I got an opportunity in a US based startup which had a small team in Kolhapur, in my hometown. So I joined them as an UI designer basically, and then I started to learn more into technicalities, the digital platform, and how the entire ecosystem works and stuff. So
Right.
I did it on myself initially, but it was not enough, obviously, to survive the competition and to get the right product out. The learning was missing, obviously, because I was
Right.
doing hands-on and then learning from the mistakes. So then I started to, research about a particular course into UX and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I, got to know about IXP and ImaginXP. So they had a few courses started in Pune, and yeah, so I did their a small jumpstarter course in around that, and yeah, since then it's really been an amazing journey. Then I started working with Fortune Cookie UX,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, since then I've been closely associated with ImaginXP, and now here I am as a visual design lead and working with EY. So yeah, that's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
amazing. Thank you so much, Tanmay, for that. And while you were talking about your design journey, you said that
yeah,
you started and you realized that that was not enough. I mean, your knowledge before was not enough. So, what was
yeah.
the impact of this program that you actually did in the certification program?
Yeah, so the certification program was quite extensive and with elaborative process. What they have, the 6D process is quite well known in the industry, which is
Right.
obviously introduced by ImagineXP themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that process tells you how to, the right way to get started with any kind of digital product journey, and to how to take ahead with the entire project life cycle.
Great,
Yeah,
wonderful. So, a lot of viewers who have joined us, are those people who are inclined towards making their journey into UX or want to
correct.
start a career in UX. But still, a lot of people they don't understand what exactly is UX design. Do you mind sharing your definition or
Sure, sure.
some description on what exactly is UX design?
Okay. Okay, so there are on online, and there are a lot of textbook definitions, obviously,
Correct.
and which everyone knows about UX. But to put it in my own words, so UX, so basically keeping UX apart and just focusing on design. So design is always a solution to a problem,
Correct.
and to arrive there, to reach there, there is entire process which happens and which a project life cycle needs to go through that process, that design process,
Mhm.
the entire process to make the digital product, which is at the end of the day, which is very useful for the end consumer to consume it in an intuitive way and
Mhm.
in a very easy way and make his life better, simple.
Right.
So that is the
Okay.
entire process which takes the product there is called
Mhm.
is UX design for me.
All right, great, wonderful. So, why do you think that someone should pursue a course in UX designing? What's the need of a formal certification or a degree in
Yeah.
UX?
Mhm. Okay, so need the current market need, the market competition is so vast. So since
Mm-hmm.
considering we are in a digital age, we are living in
Right.
a digital age. So everything you see around is digital. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so the demand is very much high, right?
Right.
So every market, every industry segment, if you see, may it be insurance, banking, finance, fintech, you name a bit. Even the governments,
Mm-hmm.
not just Indian, but all the international government into Middle East and stuff. Everyone is getting into digital, transforming their existing offline or non-digital journeys and processes into transforming there into digital.
Right.
So yes, the demand is really pretty very much high, and to again to to supply the demand, basically you need to be have a good knowledge basically.
Right. Right.
So to get a knowledge, you have to find a right, a course, a right college or a certification or institution to be associated with affiliated with. And yes, definitely you must invest in a, a specific design program,
Right.
be
So
it a
now,
master
while
of
you were
design
saying,
or bachelor of
yeah,
design. Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Great. So while you were saying that it is about digital, which you mentioned,
yeah,
which I heard
yeah.
from the answer. So is it restricted to the technology or maybe the mobile or the smart screens that we are using? Is that all about UX, or is that what you mean about digital?
No, not just the mobile and the website. It's the digital
Hmm.
age it's beyond mobile and few devices. So
Right.
technology is evolving every year. There is a new wave is coming into. So considering AR, VR, there is AI ML is getting into to a next level basically. So it's not just about mobile, but it's such much more beyond that. So creating entire ecosystem to
Hmm.
connect with the one single user and how easily he commutes to his life journey and all his digital touch points help him to reach the destination basically.
Right, right. So,
So
when we talk about AI, ML, or technology, there are a lot
yeah.
of people, and I'm sure in the viewers right now, they must be having this question in mind that if it is related to technology, does that mean that as a designer, or let's say if I am a design enthusiast, I have to learn coding as well?
No. That's not something
So
a
that's a
designer
relief
do.
for many, I'm sure. So how does
Definitely not.
design,
Definitely
how
not.
does a design enthusiast fits into this something called as digitalization or technology or AI and ML?
Correct. So any designer, so design is again all about problem solving. So it's
Hmm.
not just about how you code better, or it's not about coding. So uh, code, the development part helps the implement or develop the design what a designer creates basically. So
Right,
to
right.
arrive a product any at that level which is ready to develop and deploy and make live and available to the end consumer, there's an
Hmm.
entire design part has to be done. So that entire design industry needs a lot of designers, and
Correct.
again, so no coding is required. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So, my next question would be, and again, this is one of the most asked question that we get from our students or prospects. They talk
Yeah.
about what is actual future of UX design. So, if we can have some elaboration about uh, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, what do you think is the future of UX or design as a career? If you can throw some light on, the upcoming technologies or what exactly is the future requirement. So right now, if I see a lot of surveys, today
Yeah.
people are demanding UX designers and there's
Yes.
n number of jobs available and we see it on and off every day. But if I
Every
talk
day.
about 5 years down the line or maybe 10 years down the line, what do you think is the future of design as a career, specifically UX?
Okay, so considering again, so every industry segment, so the government, the technology industry, everyone who caters to the service line,
Right.
all the production houses,
Mm-hmm.
everything they are moving their they are relying on the digital tools, digital platforms to make things happen. So,
Right.
for example, if you see Zoom, so Zoom is trending since the COVID period, COVID-19 period, and since the pandemic, everyone is relying on tools like Zoom,
Correct.
right? Yeah, so Zoom is one of the best tools out there who is helping the customer, the people to connect and end to end. So there is one tool. So there are not many tools. Not many tools to compete with, right?
Right.
So there will be lot of bigger challenges just like this. COVID getting into touch with remotely. The remote trend will be, the method, remote ways to connect and work. That will
Right.
definitely go large in coming years, and it's not just about interacting digitally or remotely. So currently it's all about mobiles. The current phase is all about mobile and touch medium. So
Correct.
going ahead, going considering the disabilities, the blindness, the deafness, the voice command,
Hmm.
all these technologies will be growing much more further. So
Right.
yeah, so the need going ahead in the coming 5 years, I see the people going crazy about greater than just, I'll just silent my mobile, sorry. Yeah, so yeah, also when you see movies like Iron Man, Avengers, whatever you see the Tony Stark doing a lot of stuff digitally. So that's
Yeah.
the future. The future that's
Correct.
really going to happen in the future, and we have to reach there. And to reach there, definitely the world needs much more UX designers who are well taught and certified and qualified to make that reality happen. Basically,
Wonderful, wonderful. So, your present job profile, you are associated with
yeah,
an organization called EY, and
yeah,
if better known, Ernst and Young is
yeah,
more into business consulting. So,
yeah,
how does digital and UX fit into an organization like EY? And if you can just, of course, we don't want the details, but if you can
yeah.
talk about what projects are you working on with the
Hmm.
futuristic approach, I'm sure a lot of students would be benefited if they get to know about how does a company like EY works into
Okay.
UX.
Yeah, so EY has many business verticals, as everyone knows, and
Right,
it's one of the big fours. So they also happen to consult into digital consulting basically.
right, right.
Whoever wants to transform their existing business into digital.
Hmm.
So yeah, companies like EY help them get there basically. So EY consults digital consultation into core into digital transformation of the processes, coming with innovation products for particular niche industry segments.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Great, wonderful. So, Tanmay, very quickly, I'll just take one question from the audience. There is this girl
sure.
who's asking about, she's a BDES and she knows graphic and visuals, and she's pursuing the UX design course from
Right.
ImaginXP.
Mhm.
She wants to know what will be her transition from graphics and visual into a UX designer.
Okay, interesting.
That's
So,
interesting, in fact.
yeah. So, me being core into visual design, obviously. So,
Correct.
visual
Correct.
design is a very, very crucial part of entire UX design.
Right.
So the transition would be a little bit, a twisted way. But if you start from the entire process, which is, starting from the research and development, and then arriving at the visual design aspect of the platform. So
All
the
right.
transition will be fun, of course,
Yeah.
and it won't be tough. So the it won't be challenging in a weird way, but it's definitely going to, since she being into already from a design background, so the aesthetic part, how it connects to the research part, so it will be an amazing bridge for her to understand.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Another question that comes from the audience is, how does a design student, and I think I mentioned that earlier too, people who have an orientation for design, how do they cope up with demanding digital industry?
So design as in core into any specific or
uh, Generic people who are into design or who are design enthusiasts, like I mentioned, especially in a country
yeah,
like us where design is still considered as something known as art and craft and nothing beyond that. How do you
okay,
think people should cope up with digital industry?
yeah. Okay, so definitely there is a huge difference between art and design. So art is
Correct.
like, so art is always about the artist and what I feel and what I emote. So
True.
design is something really opposite of that. Design
Right.
is what is the need of the end user and how
Right.
I solutionize it in a better way so that his life gets better and easier. So
Right.
that's how the difference between design and art is definitely. So
Mhm.
so that's to clear. So definitely, design is something you do for the user and not for yourself.
Correct.
Yeah,
Great. So design is something that we do for users and not for ourselves. Wonderful.
correct. Yeah.
Uh, any guidance or a piece of advice that you would like to give to people who want to shape their career in UX?
Uh, Tips, advice would be, so see, you need to find your the spark. So you need to find your passion,
Hmm.
and you need to know what the industry needs,
Hmm.
and you first need to learn. You find the right course, find the right
Hmm.
college and institute, and get into the learning, and then basically start with your new career venture basically, and don't just go without any planning or proper education or certification basically.
Yeah. There are
Yeah.
people who are inclined towards UX that fit into AR and VR. Any specific, guidance which is required for people who want to get into AR, VR, and want to work on UX related to AR, VR?
Yeah, so AR VR is involves a lot of physics and science, how to augment existing reality into something virtual. So yeah, so basic the physics comes place, the 3D, the how the product will look. So the entire knowledge about the perspective, the science, the physics, everything comes into picture. So yeah, and of course the technology, how technology bridges the reality basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. I heard that you have been working with some interns who have pursued some,
Yeah.
courses from ImaginXP, and they
Yeah.
have done university 1 year courses, and they are working on some projects. I would actually like to know, as an industry expert, I would like to know now what do you think about their learning or their implementation of the concepts of UX that they have learned?
Correct, correct. So yeah, it's definitely really great thing to know that interns what we are working on right now. So we have around 8 to 9 interns working with us from Chitkara, and
Yeah, Chicago
they
University.
few of them, yeah. So few of them M days and B days as well, both. And
Mm-hmm.
the kind of work they are doing, the grasping power they have because of the core knowledge what they have learned from the college. So they are
Mm-hmm.
performing really well, and it's really amazing how they are grasping and moving and growing so fast and helping in the live projects what we do
Right.
basically. So they are, the performance wise, they are doing really well, and we would might to hire few of them in future.
Great, wonderful, good to know that. So,
Yeah,
Tanmay, before we end this session, I would like you to first, give a message to the viewers, and I would also like to know if you would like to get in touch with all these viewers who would in the future stay connected with you and ask a lot of queries or know about UX journey
definitely.
or career in UX.
Yes, yes, definitely. So all the viewers who are hi to them, and definitely please connect to me, follow me on Insta, DM me what any kind of queries you have and what kind of more questions you want to seek. Definitely, I'll be always be there. I'll try to help as much I can.
So the last message for all of them and a message for Imagine XP too, please.
Yeah. So ImaginXP, I really like what they have started with this new alumni session. I hope to see new lot of more faces coming around. And yeah, so whatever I still would like to do more with ImaginXP such sessions, and yeah, yeah, good
Great.
work.
Thank you so much, Tanmay. God bless
Thank
you,
you.
and
Thank you.
I hope to interact with you very soon.
Similarly, same here, same here. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
for
Thank you.
Bye bye. Good
Bye.
day.
So that was Tanmay, ladies and gentlemen. And the next guest we have today, Mehak Mehrotra, who's working as a senior UX designer in a company called Caseware International, based out in Canada. And it's early morning there, Sunday morning, and she said yes for this amazing session. And before taking a lot of time, I would just add in Mehak and let's see her journey. I see a lot of audience who are talking about that they are BTech, they are engineers, and they want to pursue a career in UX. Mehak would be the right person to answer because she's an engineer and now a senior UX designer. So let's hear it from Mehak. Hi Mehak, how are you?
I am good, sir. How are you?
All good. Thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to see you. And I feel proud and it's hysterical at the same time because I remember the day when you thought of becoming a UX designer or wanted to start a career in spite of doing engineering and you did real well in your engineering, but you thought of becoming a UX designer, thought of coming to Imagine XP, and then started a new journey of life. And today in Canada at Caseware International, it's amazing.
Thank you, sir, for making me part of this session and where I can share my experience with all the students. So I was there when Tanmay was there in the live chat, and I was reading through the comments that many of the
Correct.
people are anxious because they have done their engineering, and I think
Yes.
I'm in the same boat as they are. Uh,
Correct. Correct.
so I'll just give my background that I'm an IT engineer. I did my graduation in 2011, and I started working as a systems engineer in one of the IT consultancies in India. So during that role, we used to test the UI of web applications. And that's
Hmm.
what made me thinking that, okay, so the developers are some people who are developing that application, but
Correct.
who is that person who is getting their mind into the picture and designing that end solution for the user? So
Hmm.
I always wanted to dig into that field and wanted to explore more about the design career. And that's how I started reading more about it. And I got to know that, okay, this entire field is called user experience.
Correct.
Then I got to know about ImaginXP, that they are one of the few who are offering the course in the design. And I started the Jumpstarter 3 months course. And soon
Hmm.
after the course, I think I discussed this with you. I knew that
Yes.
this is what I wanted to do in my career. And I
Right.
feel that was one of the best decision in my career till now.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah. So that's how my journey has been so far. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, of course, I still remember while you were mentioning about this thing, I still remember. So, you did your course from the Delhi Center, and I remember
That's
that
right.
each
Yeah.
weekend after your sessions, you used to call me and tell me how excited you were to go to your class, to access each toolkit, and how you used to manage your assignments with your job and everything. So I would like to know about more of such things about your journey while you were pursuing this course and your journey from the course up till now. Throw some more light on that for the audience.
Okay, yeah. So I remember I used to call you every weekend after the class. So the Jumpstarter course is one such course that helped me because I was a working professional. So I was
Yes.
working Monday to Friday, and then I used to go to this Jumpstarter course during the weekend. And I think that course has helped me gain the ins and out of the design industry.
Correct.
So when I did that course, because they used to train us for the live projects that are going on in the design field. And
Mhm.
once I was over with the course, uh, I think I was industry ready by then.
Yeah.
Soon after the course, I started working as an interaction designer with Fortune Cookie UX Design. And I did many projects in different domains like banking, telecom, retail, insurance. And for the past 1 year, I've been working with Caseware International here in Canada. And so this company basically designs auditing softwares for the
Okay.
auditors at a global level. And
Mhm.
I am helping them design those softwares. And I'm working as a UX designer for them. So that's how my
Wonderful.
journey has been. I think it's been wonderful.
Wonderful. Great, great. So I mean, if you see that I was asking a lot of questions to Tanmay and similar questions I would like to ask from you. And of course, I believe the context or the answer may be a little different just because Tanmay has always been a
Yeah,
designer and you jumped from engineering to design, which was
true.
total different ball game. So what exactly is UX design for you?
Okay. I think this is one of the most asked questions. Uh,
Yes.
UX design or user experience design, as the name suggests, is the experience of a user while
Hmm.
interacting with any product, be it
Hmm.
a web application, a mobile app, or a website. And I think it's not just restricted to a digital platform, it's the experience that you feel anytime and anywhere.
Right.
Also, for example, in this moment, if we are having a live chat, so the people who are experiencing this live chat, so by the
Correct.
end of the session, if they have learned something and they are happy about it, so that means this is a good user experience. So
That's true.
that's how I feel what is a good UX design.
Hmm.
And
Great.
I think it's there's a whole process of creating this UX design because it is a design for the users. It is user driven, so that is the foremost thing that you need to have that research about the users. You need to know what your target audience is. You need to find their
Correct.
pain points and then create solutions for them. So that is how you create a good user experience.
Right. So, like you were saying, that a lot of people were asking in the audience. People are from design, from engineering background, and now they want to become a UX designer. Or somebody is just a 12th pass uh, with no knowledge of UX. Why do you think that they should become a UX designer? Or why should someone actually become a UX designer?
Okay, and sir, you are I don't know, you're cutting in between. Okay. So yes, I am reading a lot many questions from the users that if they are pursuing engineering, why should they come into the design field, or if they have just passed out of 12, what benefit will this course give them? Well, I think that UX is one such field that is growing exponentially, and the demand of the UX designers will is growing with it. So the importance of UX design, because each industry is going into digitalization, be it
Right.
retail sector, be it banking, automobile, everything is going digital. So with the increase of that, there's a demand of UX designers. And also in today's world, the competition is so much that you need to stand out from the crowd. If it's a 12th class pass out person, I think I think they have been given a great opportunity to do this 4 years degree program. I wish I had something during my time, so that I could study that degree in design. I think having a degree in design would help them to learn everything from scratch, and by the end of the 4 years, they'll be industry ready. So I think having that formal education is very important in these days. Uh, I remember like back in the days, people used to just go over the internet and they used to excel also in this design field. But I think right now, with the increase in competition, there's a requirement of a formal degree or a certificate program. And also with my experience, I can say that the certificate and the knowledge that I've got from ImaginXP has helped me not only in India, like to get a job, but also here in Canada. So I think those certificates really help you at global level.
That's wonderful to know, Mehak. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. What do you think is the future of design industry and future of UX as a whole?
Uh, so I think, as I already mentioned, that the demand of digitalization is growing. Uh, I feel that UX has been there for a while, but there's a lot of scope, or you can say a room for improvement, even in the UX field. Uh, there's so many industries going digital, from banking, retail, automobile, and I like their mobile app. You can choose the color that you want for your car, the interiors, the type of wheel that you would like to have in your car, and you'll get an estimated price. You can pay for that car online, and they'll deliver that car at your doorstep. So it's like as easy as delivering a pizza from a mobile app. So this is the level of digitalization that we have reached. And I think areas like this, there are so many different areas like this, they are yet to be explored by the UX industry, like AR, VR coming into picture, various voice interfaces need to be recognized, and the UX needs to be worked upon it. Uh, Also in the present time, like coronavirus, uh, when industries have recognized the importance of digital market, I think once everything is back to normal, more and more companies would be investing in
Hello.
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 I lost you. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for the internet glitch.
Okay. No worries.
Really sorry,
Yes.
guys. And we are back. Right. So you were mentioning about the future of UX industry, right?
Yes.
Can you focus on few of the projects that you have done, which have an approach of future UX?
Sure. I remember doing one such project with Fortune Cookie UX design. It was a healthcare system. So I think with the advent of technology, what healthcare is doing, they are building such mobile apps or such products that will be helping the customers, and they are just easing their life with those products. Like, you would be able to book your appointment, you'll be able to see your medical reports, your medical history, so that you don't have to look for all that paperwork, and the doctors could find your medical history, your family background, and that would, with also like AI coming into picture, they'll be able to formulate a better solution and a better medical solution for the users.
Hmm.
Also, the company that I'm currently working with, Caseware International, so what it
Hmm.
does is it builds softwares for the auditors that are doing the auditing at a global level. So when I joined this company, I got to know that the auditing process is different in all the countries, but Caseware caters or builds that product that caters to all over the world. So there's also Caseware India, so we
Okay.
build those features for that market. Then there is Caseware Canada, there's Caseware Australia. So I think this is a very good example, because auditing is one such industry where the government norms keeps on changing with all the countries, and we have to cater to them. We need to understand the users' mental pain point, and then as they evolve, as the industry evolves, we need to give solutions accordingly.
Great, wonderful. I remember we were having a conversation some time back, and you were mentioning that even during this pandemic situation, there are organizations each day which are approaching and they are asking for UX designer. So, can you throw some light on why and crisis economy? At the same time, you say that there are jobs for UX designers.
Yes. So I think it's not just in India, it's happening globally, that everyone is
Right.
supposed to stay at home, work from home. And there are many business, as we see the economy is going down, there are many business that have been impacted by this COVID-19, because they don't have any digital platform. So
Hmm.
during this time, I think many companies would have realized the importance of going digital, and this is for a fact that's been happening here in Canada, that I am still getting job opportunities of UX designers. And I think that's only because during this time, and also in the future, as we spoke about the future of digitalization, I think the scope of UX and the UX designers will keep on increasing. So that's why I'm still, and this is for the fact that people can go on Indeed and LinkedIn, and they can check that how many opportunities are still open for UX designers.
Great, wonderful. Uh, there are people in the audience who would still like to know that how you should design your career in UX.
So UX is a vast field. It's
Right.
it's so, as I mentioned, it's an experience that you build. There are many segments that you have to go through to create that experience, like user research, visual design, UI part. So firstly,
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to understand what is your strong point. That, do you
Mm-hmm.
want to go into the interaction part of the UX design? Do you want to go into the research part? Do you want to, are you good into the visuals, or are you good into the wireframing part of it? And to build that part, like, first you find out what's your interest, what's your career goal, and then definitely look for a formal education into it. And I think people in this time, they are very lucky because they have opportunities, and like how ImaginXP is tying up with different universities and offering the BDS and MDS courses. So I think it's great for them. I wish I could do something like that. So
Anytime,
yes,
Mehak.
yeah,
You're most welcome again. Great. So there are few people who are asking in the audience, and Tanmay also mentioned about 6D, a 6D process which probably you studied at ImaginXP. Uh, how well are you being able to implement that in the processes that you follow today in the companies?
yeah. So 60 is the process that we were taught at ImaginXP, and that's the flow of the design that you start with the user research, you find your target audience, you create user journeys, you map the task flows, and basically you get to know your users, and then you come to the solution point of it. Now, what
Right.
happens in the real time projects or in the industry is like I mentioned, I'm working in auditing software in the field of auditing. So usually how it happens is if I'm working with my product manager, he will just come up to me that, okay, we have got this feature request from a user. So I'll be calling them up. I'll be setting them with a meeting, and I'll get to know, okay, this is what they're looking for. This is their constraints, and this is
Mm.
what I need to design for them. But
Right.
that's the time that I get is usually of 1 week time, or maybe sometimes it's just 3 days. And in that
Mm.
time, I can't follow that entire 60 process. So you need to figure out that for that feature, what are those most important tasks that need to be completed. Uh, like the I think the basic and the most example is uh, understanding the user. Okay, this is the audience, this is the segment that I'm catering to. So first, figure out the target audience, and then create the task flows, and then try to figure out the solution. It's not always that you can follow that 60 process, but yes, you need to cater to it.
Yeah.
So
So
that's how
that,
I
but
usually do.
still it
Depending on the
means that,
time constraints, I modify my design process, and then I design the solution.
but the basic remains the same 6D,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
the relevance of 6D still remains the same for the industry.
Exactly. It's just the
Great.
time constraints. You need to follow each step. It's just how much time you can give into for that each step in the 60 process.
Yeah. Also, there is there were few people who have been asking me this before also, and probably we have also talked about it in the past, that somebody who is not a certified UX designer but still working on some process of UX, and somebody who's a certified or a degree holder in UX, what do you think will be the difference between such two professionals?
So I think earlier and even now, like internet has everything. It has all
Correct.
the knowledge that you want. You can go through it and you will get a hold of it, what you want to do. But I think the difference lies is one is you have a formal education in design. You can apply that formal education. You know what is the industry practice and what is going in the market currently. So that is what this certificate and this degree will teach you. Whereas the online learning will just give you what has been there, but not the actual industry picture. And also, I feel like if you have that certificate course or if you have that degree, it will always be an edge over the others. You'll always stand out from the crowd. Even if a recruiter who's looking at your profile, he will definitely select the person who has a certified degree than the person who is just doing it without a degree or just off passion like that.
All right, great. A lot of people are also interested to know the importance of portfolio for a UX designer. Can you throw some light on that?
Sure. So I can say this from my example, like when I started looking for a job in Canada, and this has really helped me. So during the course in ImaginXP also, we have been told from the starting of the ImaginXP course that in the end we'll be building a project. So I think that project is the basis when you imply the 60 process and you create a project. You start building your portfolio from there and you include all those projects into your portfolio. And when I was looking for a job in here, I think that project and that portfolio has helped me to get a job as quickly as in a month's time. And I think it's very important to have a portfolio because that is the first thing that the recruiters look at, and they get a knowledge of how that person thinks and creates those designs.
Okay, great. Now, looking back at your own journey, if you would like to speak more and think of uh, some more amazing moments that you see as yourself as a UX designer instead of an IT engineer, how would you sum up that?
Yeah. So when I started this course, and I always tell this to people when they ask me about my UX journey or my ImaginXP journey, is that I had an amazing faculty who was teaching this Jumpstarter course in ImaginXP. And the first thing that he taught us in the course was you have to feel that empathy for the user. And I think that thing has made me, that thing has changed me as a person. Like when I was
Wow.
doing the IT job, I was just okay, if I need to build something, somebody has given me a problem, I'll work on it. But when you are a UX designer, when you work with the users and you actually feel okay, I have developed a solution for them and they are really happy after the solution, so hearing
Mm,
positive replies from your actual users makes you so happy. So I think that's what the difference between the IT professional and the UX designer is. It has
great.
really like changed me as a person.
Yeah, so good to know
And I
that.
think you also know it because I keep sharing my
Yes,
experiences.
certainly, certainly. And
Yeah.
I'm always proud of that. Uh, I asked Tanmay this question, and again I'll ask this, and your again perception probably can be a little different just because you are an engineer. Uh, Tanmay was talking about AI, ML. There were few viewers who talked about UX in AR and VR. So that a lot of time confuses people that is it important for a UX designer to do coding? Because when they say digital, when they say AR, when they say VR, the first thing that comes in mind is coding, right? So where does the design stand in between technology?
So I think this is one misconception that people have about UX, that you need to, because you are developing the front end that is interacting with the user, that you need to code for it. Well, coding is a separate part uh, because as I already stated that UX is vast and UX is
Correct.
basically creating that experience.
True.
Your design is basically telling a story to the user, while as the
Right.
coding part is how your design looks and feel. So coding is separately and entirely different, and UX is basically creating that experience between the coding and the user. So UX is the middle line that stands between the backend and the front end.
Great.
And
Wonderful.
then there
Great.
are different tools that are available in the market. Like
Hmm.
when I did the ImaginXP course, they taught us Exure RP that helps in building the wireframes and the visual designs. But you don't have to
Mhm.
code for it. That is
Right.
the part of a UI developer. That
Correct.
is entirely different. But yes, I
Mm.
get this question as well from many people, that what's the difference and are we supposed to code also? So
Right.
yes.
So someone from the audience is excited to know about what was your project while you were pursuing your course at Imagine XP.
Oh, I remember, and it was my like faculty who was like teaching and who was checking that project in the end. He was
Mhm.
curious, like why did I took that course. So I'll tell you
Okay.
what my course was, because that was very separate from what all everyone took into consideration. So my project, I built an app to make people happy. And the reason behind was because I was working into IT sector, I could see that people are actually very depressed from their life. So I thought of having a platform which could motivate them and could make them happy in some fashion. So what I did was, uh, so anyone could come to the platform and they could ask questions, they can discuss anything. And how I built this app was the backend people who were answering were actually the psychology students,
Okay.
because the psychology students also have to take up some course. So I
Okay.
thought like they can work on this and I can provide that interface for those people. So I like that was very different, but yeah, that was an interesting journey because I had so many people, like so many friends who were working into IT, and I could take their interviews, I could understand. So
True.
that's how I got to that project.
That's wonderful. Someone from the audience is curious to know your experience at ImaginXP.
Well, I think I already stated that course has literally changed my career and it has changed me as a person. Like
Mhm.
how I stated that that uh, like after that course, I started observing more. So that is one thing that our tutor taught us, that you need to observe, you need to think from a user's point of view. So
Great.
yeah,
Wonderful. And actually,
that
while you
has
were
been
mentioning
my
about
journey.
while you were mentioning about your project, which was about bringing happiness to people or including psychology people, I'm sure you know that, and I would like to mention this to the audience as well. There are apps like Calm, if you have
Yeah.
heard of an app called Calm, and they have actually become unicorn companies. So
So
probably they
that
took idea
was,
from
yeah.
you, Mehak.
No, I took idea from them because when you are starting to build any design, you need to do
Right,
competitive analysis. You need to know what are other products that you are building and
right.
why are people using it. What is a
Mhm.
good thing and a bad thing in that. So that's how I learned about that app. Yeah.
Wonderful, great. So, before leaving, I would like you to give a message to all the people who want to pursue design as a career or want to enter UX industry.
Well, based on my experience, I can say that that design is really an interesting field and it's amazing. Uh, as already said, that sky is the limit for UX. You should definitely go for it, and you'll find it interesting to work with the users, and you'll actually see how happy you will be when your users are happy when you create the solution for them. So I really will motivate people and I'll ask them to join courses as offered by ImaginXP and do wonders in design.
Thank you so much. And last message for Imagine XP.
Sorry?
Lastly, I want a message for Imagine XP.
Well, I think ImaginXP is doing great. Because I'm following ImaginXP on Instagram and LinkedIn, I keep seeing that they have collaborated for so many different universities and they are offering amazing design programs. Even I'm planning of doing the MDS soon from ImaginXP. So let's hope for
Most
that.
welcome.
Yeah.
Great,
And
great.
all the best to you and all the best to everyone. And if there's any more questions, you can connect over LinkedIn and I'll be happy to any help.
Great. All the best to you, Mehak, and God